Oh, I like that. That's made me happy. Hello, it's Andrea. I'm here with another kiln unload for you. It's not a very big one, but I wanted to share it with you. This is not my usual cone 5. I ran this one to a cone 6 for reasons that will become clear as we go down a shelf. And this is quite interesting because I did run it at the same program that I do my cone 5 at. And with my cone 5 doing a 12-minute hold, I normally get about a 5.5. Well, that's cone here. That's cone 6 and that's cone 7. So I got a cone 7 with my cone 6 fire. So that's very interesting to note that I get definitely a cone and a half higher. And this is not a full kiln, so it's not based on that it got that much. So let's get into it. Let's see what we got in here. I got some fun pieces, just bits and bobs, some trinket dishes, a couple refires. Let's take a look. So in my previous 2 kiln loads before, I did these little mixed bits of Underglaze transfer with a bit of slip on them just to make different decorations. So this was the Underglaze transfer on its own, and this is it mixed with 2 other pieces, or the blue piece and then the red piece, and then you see this light blue over top. That is a piece. That's just a bit of slip I put on it just to add more decoration. I've just done these 2 little extra bits. They don't even have holes in it, so they're not going to be anything. This does have a hole in it, so I could make a necklace from it. I will need to sand the back. It's smooth, but you know, when you have something against your skin, you want it to be, you know, oh, look at that. Maybe I don't need it. Oh no, I do need I do need a string for it. You want it to be quite smooth against there and the little edges. But they were just a bit of fun to throw in to help fill this kiln up. If you watched my flower gnome tutorial, I have now fired the flower gnomes. Here's the first little guy. This was my speed made one, so it's a very simple one. And it actually has a very simple glaze on it. There, move my light. So this is my, it's only 2 colors. So this is Raspberry Mist, which I put underneath 2 coats. And then this is my mixed leftover blue glaze that I explained in my previous kiln unload. So lots of this stuff, if you watch my other videos, make sure you're subscribed and you'll come up in your feed, or you can go back on your own. So that's my mystery blue, and I put the mystery blue 2 times over top. Isn't that pretty how they came out together? Yeah, just a sort of hint of floral, because it wasn't, you know, my best made gnome. I didn't want to spend too much time making it, but it's sweet. I'll try and include photos too. Won't be taking the photos today. It's another day. It's 1 o'clock and it's 31 already. I think it's going up to 32 or 33. So we are staying out of the sun. Maybe tomorrow morning I'll do it. Oh, what did I do on the inside there? Oh, I forgot to do anything. That's okay. It was just going to be for me. So on this is the one that you would have seen me make in the demonstration of the flower gnomes, and I finally got around to glazing it. Ooh, very interesting in the back. That's quite nice. Is that a pinhole? It is a pinhole, but that's okay because it's just a gnome. So I'll just sand that down. I won't need to refire it. So let me tell you what is on here. Right. On the back here, I got Enchanted Forest, a new jungle gem for me. And I just put 2 coats on. And this is runoff from up here. What is up here? Let me look. What it was I did 2 times Opal Lustre over the leaves, and then I put on 2 times micro jade over it, and that's quite a lovely color actually. But at the back here you can see it ran quite a bit, but it's still quite nice how it's iridescent like that. Really, I love how it sort of looks like a magical gnome almost, I would say. I'm gonna have to get some photos in the sunlight because I don't think you can see it as well as I can. Maybe if I hold them up here, you can see it better. Look at the colors on it. There's the pinhole. Ignore that one. But yeah, the colors really mixed together. There's the Enchanted Forest. And then on the front here, it doesn't look like it dripped too bad. much. It looks like it sort of came all along the side here. Oops, try on the side and then went down here, which is good because it meant it didn't land on the beard. And the beard was purple Aster from Mayco. And in the center, I had also one coat of Opal Lustre. So you can see it ran a little bit maybe in there, but not too bad because there's the same sort of motions there. So I think it's the micro Jade on top of the Opal Lustre that's causing that. What was the nose? Nose was 2 times just Opal Lustre. I don't know where the brown specks came from. It's all right. He was just an experiment. I like him, actually. I think he looks like a magical gnome. My little wizard. I have some other wizard gnomes. We'll have to add him to the collection. Or maybe I should start selling these on Etsy. Would anyone buy one? I don't want you to buy one just because you love my videos. I want you to buy one because you love the gnomes if I put them up on Etsy. Let me know in the comments. And if you don't, that's okay. I've been practicing my wheel throwing, and these were 2 terrible pots, but they were good enough that I wanted to try. And I actually glazed these in the raw, so these were single fired. And in that sense, they came out fine. In the sense that they're rough and ready pots, that's another thing. Now this is quite interesting. This is that same St. Thomas clay that I used before. I pulled this into as an example because what I want to show you is that these 2 are actually the same glaze. Would you ever guess that? I wouldn't. So this is at 5.5 and this is at 7. So knowing that and I love this color, and this color I think is just very average because the variegation that's nice here just looks streaky here. So that's matte lavender, or maybe it's just called lavender. I'm going to move my camera so I don't have to keep tilting my head quite so much. It might just be lavender from Bath Potters. So quite the difference in colors. Like you can sort of see here along the side, the same blue that's here, but this, the floating lilac, is what's really interesting. So must remember not to do it too high. I did it on another pot in the spring, too high, and it was fine, but it's, you know, it's this blue color, not this lovely lavender color. Okay, in here, oh, I know what else I did. Actually, now that I think about it, this was honey flux here. Yes, that was honey flux under there, and just over the edge here as well. And that's the lavender matte on its own. It does get quite a bit more shiny, but it's still not the same color as that, is it? No. It's definitely blue. Inside was the blue matte from Bath Potters that I also tried last week. This time I actually poured it into the container, and it's still not very nice. I mean, no, I don't like it at all. Maybe I could have kept it in longer. This was fairly dry clay, so I don't think it was a matter of it not absorbing because it was wet. But, no, yeah. That blue matte is going to become a liner glaze because I'm not using it on anything else because I don't like it. Here is that, oh, this one came out a little bit more. This is the same lavender again, inside and outside, but without any honey flux on the top. I think I had honey flux actually underneath, and now that I think about it, it was on the top, on the inside, and on the outside here, and it's just too shiny. I do like how some of the purple comes through here and here, and it is a little bit more matte. That's okay. That's kind of okay. You can see the chattering I got from when I was trying to make it. That was, it looks purposeful, but it's not. It's just poorly centered clay causing it, I think. But it's all right. Oh, there's my little cookie. I just had it underneath just in case the glaze did something I wasn't expecting, since I knew I was going a hotter temperature. It's quite a bumpy clay because I didn't smooth it either. This one's much smoother because I trimmed it properly. This one I didn't rub anything against it, but it's okay. Again, that's me just getting used to that oxidizing St. Thomas. So let me put that over. Okay, well, that's the top row. underneath are my refires here, and I'll tell you more about them when I see them, because right now I don't remember what it was. And it was 2 new pieces too. Okay, interesting. All right, so for one piece, I took my glaze chips, which you may have seen Jeanette from Far Forest Ceramics. She's done quite a few videos on those a few years ago, but still, I put the glaze chips over honey flux, and it came out okay. There's a lump here though, which is what I always fear when I do glaze chips, that something's just not going to melt properly. But I do like the soft terrazzo effect of it. And then here I did 2 coats of my junk blue glaze, the reclaimed blue, and then just 1 underneath. So 1's definitely not enough, but the 2 on the side is quite pretty. Because I'd already done this in my previous kiln unload, which you can watch. I knew that it was a bit clear, of a celadon kind of thing. I always get these lumps when I do these things. I don't know. I like the effect, but I don't think it's worth holding on to these bags of glaze chips. Anyone want a bag of glaze chips? Because it's not my thing. Not my thing, I don't think. No, that didn't work so much. I refired the lid to this paint pot. If you want to see, learn more about it. Again, 2 videos ago. I feel like this video, all I'm doing is telling you to go watch my previous videos, but I don't want to repeat myself too, because I know I have a lot of regular viewers. So I was trying to see, but if I put a coat of glaze on top, if these bumps would come out, and guess what? They did not. I should have ground them down. But again, it's okay because it's just for me. But at least here, it no longer feels rough. That was my attempt at majolica. I won't get into it too much, but I think I've learned a little bit for next time, because I'm going to try the majolica again. So that's all right. Not a great refire, but also it didn't break. So with that, we're happy. Okay, this was a little plate. It's all right. It's a little subtle for what I was hoping for. What it was on this, over the whole thing, it was 2 coats of Blue Midnight. Yes, 2 coats of Blue Midnight from Mayco. And then on these side bits, I did 3 coats. And then in the middle, I put the Enchanted Forest, the same glaze that you can see here, over it. And yeah, it's okay. It's very subtle. I was hoping for a little bit more of an effect. So maybe I should have used a clearer glaze on its own, because this Blue Midnight's has a bit of a float, so maybe that muddled it up. And then on the side, I did 2 coats of that as well. It's fine. It's just a little bit boring, and I don't think it's worth refiring. I had considered putting flux on the edges. Maybe that would have made it more interesting. It's all right. I do like the yellow flecks in it, but did I put 2 coats on? Yeah, I just put 2 coats on. I don't know if a 3rd coat would have made a difference. I saw Lindy Lou Pottery, or Linda from Lindy Lou Pottery, do this. And not this combo, but she used Enchanted Forest. And I thought it looked so nice, I wanted to give it a try. And of course, I just tried it on a piece, because why use test tiles when you can ruin a perfectly good piece? This isn't ruined, it's just a little disappointing. But I think it's okay. I don't know what's underneath. We have one more set of things under here. Let's take a look. I'm going to be as surprised as you are. What could it be? Oh, hopefully nothing broke. Oh, I was very lucky there, because it did fall actually onto my plate, but it didn't break. Oh, nice. Oh, came out really lovely, actually. So I had a bit of a white glaze that had gotten some sort of speckle into it. And now I put it on this knowing that there would be a speckle, and it looks okay, because I was expecting the speckle. Kind of looks like the sea salt that some people talk about. I don't think it is exactly. So what the idea with this is this little section here is where I will put balsamic vinegar, and then you put your olive oil over top, and then you put your crackers on this side, or pieces of bread, and then you can dip it in here and it'll make a little design. Yeah, I think actually it's really sweet. I'll definitely make sure to include a bit of footage of me filling this and using it, just so that you can see what I mean, because I might not be explaining that exactly right. So if it whether it works or not, I'll include that footage here. Okay, I've saved the best piece for last. This is definitely the loveliest piece. This is a leaf bowl I did. Our leaf plate. It's, leaf trinket dish maybe, because the edges are up. That is just 3 times rainforest on the top, 2 times on the back, because the back just needs glaze. I should have done 3, really. It looks always so patchy compared. And then with a little ladybug or ladybird, Mayco red gloss and black obsidian stroke and coat. That's really sweet. That's lovely. Oh, I like that. That's made me happy. The next thing I'm doing pottery-wise is I'm doing a day of raku this weekend. So I'm doing that with one of my pottery societies that I'm a member of. So I'm really looking forward to that. I have to bring some bisque pieces. I have 1 piece bisque and I need to get 3 more, maybe a few more done just as emergency pieces. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I'll make sure I put up footage of that. So if you're interested in raku, if you don't even know what it is, I don't know much more other than what it technically is. Make sure you're following. So subscribe, hit the subscribe button below, hit the alarm if you want to know when my latest videos are out. I will have a gnome tutorial of how to make my ice cream gnomes coming out as well. So lots of good stuff coming your way. That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.